On the winds of change shall we fashion a new world shaped by the genius of nature and the conscience of human compassion and empathy. That quote was from the wall of Eugene Tsui's studio. I would argue that the architect, clothing designer, multi-genre musician, gymnast, boxer, mentor, environmentalist, visionary, inspirational figure, and a bunch of other titles I'm surely forgetting, is a strong contender for the title of the world's most interesting living person. I spent about a week with him to attempt to figure out just how and who this person is. But first, let's rewind. I'm an artist, musician, and content creator, and about a year ago I released episode 80 of Esoteric Meme Breakdown, a series I have where I talk about niche memes. That episode's topic was a meme about Eugene Tssui, the caption of the meme being, "My architect be losing his mind, bro. Lamau, what is this?" In the video, I asserted that he was, in fact, not losing his mind and was simply a person trying to bring hope, optimism, and respect for nature's brilliance to future generations and civilization at large. The video's themes clearly resonated with people and eventually racked up a ton of views. People were intrigued by his sequins-drenched clothing and larger-than-life ideas. But thoughts still lingered in my mind. I mean, who really is this guy? How much of this person is real? Is he just an ostentatious poser, or are his architectural designs and clothing backed by the nature-driven pragmatism that he often suggests? I felt like I had reached the valley of despair in the Dunning-Kruger effect after researching this man, trying to figure him out. The more I dug, the less I felt I understood. A couple weeks later, we talked on the phone. He saw the video. It turns out his childhood home in Minneapolis was on a street I used to drive frequently. He lamented the loss of an oak tree formerly in the front yard and expressed mild rage that there was now a tacky Mediterranean-style McMansion on the lot. He also mentioned that I was welcome to visit him at any time. Some months passed, and I had an unrelated opportunity to be in the Bay Area where he lives for some art gallery programming. I asked if he'd be interested in showing me around his life. He said, "Yeah, you can stay at the Fish House." The Fish House, the supposed earthquake-resistant, passively cooled, tardigrade-inspired building sitting in an otherwise unremarkable neighborhood in Berkeley, California, that's an easy "okay, I'll be there. I don't care that it's currently under renovation and half-gutted. That's even better." This is where we'll start. Then we'll see where he works, his clothing designs, and we'll talk about how he got to where he is today. So yes, I'll have the house tour. I actually met Eugene the night before filming to get the keys to the house and didn't end up doing a fake intro thing with him the next day, so we're just gonna start all killer, no filler style.
This house was designed for my parents back in 1991. My parents wanted to move from Minneapolis, Minnesota to Berkeley, California. And they knew about the earthquakes and the natural disasters that would happen here, and they wanted a house that was absolutely safe. They wanted to be in a kind of cocoon-like environment where noise and the roar of life was quieted and insulated from their daily lives. I first studied what in nature is the most indestructible creature or organism. And I found out that it's the tardigrade. They thrive in every kind of moist environment in the world. They can withstand minus 273 degrees Celsius, and they can also withstand boiling toxic gas. The body of the tardigrade is a parabola on top and a catenary arch on the bottom. And I thought, that makes perfect sense because the parabola and the catenary are nature's most elegant geometries that can dissipate forces from any direction. So the result is what you see here is the top portion of this building is a parabolic arch. The bottom is in this case a flat floor. The bottom portion of the building is made out of styrofoam and reinforced concrete blocks, a foot thick, so the insulation value is extremely high, about R80. The upper portion is made out of wood in tension. If the bottom part moves, the upper part is lightweight and very strong. So in an earthquake, it acts as a kind of a boat, so that it floats over the tremors, and the upper part, being lightweight and flexible, can dissipate the forces of shock. After an earthquake, a building cracks at the corners of the windows. That's its most susceptible area. The reason for the circular windows is so that the forces that might be at play on the surface are then tangentially thrown away from the windows. There's no corners in the building, and that's the beauty of it. And as you come to the house, much of the motif is circular and oval.
And right away, I'm seeing these.
Yes, these are called nostril windows. I invented these myself, and I can show you how they work.
Yeah.
So these are screened, stainless steel screened tubes that can be pushed in and out. So when they're pushed in, the air is shut out. And then in warmer weather, where you want natural ventilation, you can pull them out and you can feel air coming through the vents. We're going to go down one level, about a foot, and then this is the main sitting living room area, and then we'll go down one more area through here.
Another slope. And then,
which is the dining and kitchen area.
And then there's more vents over here.
Yes, more vents over here. And then these are opening and closing windows. They're meant to, these special arms can adjust the amount of opening you want to have. As we go further backwards to the sunken patio.
And this is where the air exits.
Yes, the air exits through here.
I noticed that there's more hidden holes over here.
That ventilates the heating room for the hot water heaters. Okay, so there's a spiral ramp that goes up to the second level, and my mother was responsible for this. She knew that as she and my father aged, the stress and strain on knees and joints would be greater. So she said, is there some way you can avoid stairs? And I thought, well, the only way we could do that would be to create a ramp. Now, all the lighting is built in with these soffits, so the house minimizes the need for light fixtures. There you see the 8-foot skylight above. It's covered right now, ready for painting. At the front of the building on the second level, where this is one of the bedrooms with its own bathroom and doors that are shaped like this. Why do we have to make things regular? Why not explore new ideas and emphasize the moving geometries of the house?
And one thing I noticed in this bathroom is that there is a telephone. I think that is
that's a telephone jack. Yeah, the old-fashioned telephone
Was
jacks.
that a request?
Yes, that was a request. Well, back then they were still using regular telephones. Yeah, so that was a request by my parents.
Why is there a sink right by the other sink?
This was my mother's idea, so that when she's calling people for lunch or dinner, they can wash their hands on the way down.
Very cool bathroom. It's hard to, there we go, maybe that's a little better so you can see the mirror situation.
And this tub area here is a sense of wind.
And of course the Home Depot bucket, because any renovation
yes.
must include.
Must have the iconic buckets. Here's another room example of built-in shelves. So these are, you can see they're really.
I mean,
you could do pull-ups on these shelves.
These are very strong.
Another thing that we didn't expect was when my kids lived here when they were little, they used to actually go out sneak out at night
no.
and climb down the pylons.
Oh no.
And then climb back up in the middle of the night and go to sleep and nobody would know the difference.
Oh my gosh. And then there's more.
And then there's more of the soffit lights, of course.
The lights.
Yeah. Funny enough, this seems very small, but
it does.
It seemed most of the people who have stayed in the house seem to favor this room.
Oddly, such a cozy nook. When I first came into this house, I was just kind of standing here. It's very cozy.
We get comments that they like this room the best.
So it's officially nighttime, and I'm just exploring the house in mostly dark conditions. I'll turn off the set of ambient lighting up here so you can see the kitchen lights. Oops, not looking what I'm doing here. So you can see the kitchen lights, and they're currently wired to a switch underneath the sink, but when I turn them on, you can see there are light strips underneath this, I forgot what material he said this was. There's some here that's in progress, glowing, and I kept looking around. The first time I turned this on in the evening, I kept looking around to see where the other lights were, but it's literally, it illuminates the space so much with just these lights. It's kind of wild. I've never thought about night cooking, but now I feel like I really want to do some night cooking.
The kitchen is trying to maximize the amount of surface area with the minimum space. And so it features this quartzite, pink quartzite material.
Are these circles drilled in? Or?
Yes, they're actually open wooden pieces underneath. They're in the support area of it. You can see that.
It's so clear that this is so very well thought out. And while it may look whimsical, it's very well engineered, except for the one thing that I absolutely hate, and that is that the bathroom light switch on the first floor is hidden behind the door. So when you're going in and it's dark out, you have to open and close the door to find the light switch, and it's absolutely infuriating to me when I'm trying to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night. So we'll see where all of this comes together. Let's check out his studio.
So this is a scale model of a residence. The beauty of the design is it's a logarithmic spiral. And so you can see the bedrooms, bathrooms, and the office with a translucent panel system. And then the main living room here, kitchen and dining porch, bathrooms and storage, and then the circular driveway. And this leads to a gallery area. And these are water-filled glass tubes that absorb heat, sunlight in the daytime and release it at night. So it helps to equalize the heat and cooling during the day and night. Here's another project we're working on. This is for an underground house. Uses no heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. It's underground 16 feet, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house where there's a stairway that you walk down into it facing south. And this is a geodesic porch structure that allows you to take a spiral stair up to, you can see the spiral stair, up to the top area, which is 40 feet high. Those are glass stairways that will have windmills on top.
Oh, cool.
And so we'll have these 2 towers of windmills. It's called aerotexture. These are invented by a man in Chicago, and they're completely silent. They're slow moving. These take up very little space. They're only 4 feet wide. And you can put them in any angle, and they're completely quiet, and they don't harm birds. That's the public social space, and then there's a library and 3 bedrooms with circular beds.
Oh, nice.
And the walls angle up 15 degrees. So if you can imagine a space where the walls angle away from you, so there's this sense of enlarging space. There's that. And then angling the walls backwards makes the overturn tendency of the dirt to push back. So you're actually pushing against the earth to make it more stable.
It's in progress.
Yes.
Wow.
So that's the front door.
Okay, front door, and this is
that's the windmill, the quiet windmills. Yeah. And this is the viewing porch. So you come down the stairs, into this large patio area, and then there's 4 doors.
What's the square footage of this?
2,700 square feet. It's meant to be a normally sized residential building.
If I had to take these stairs every time I came and went, I might go crazy. But you're saying that I think you pointed out there's other entrances, or is that?
Yeah, there's 2.
Okay.
These 2 spiral stairs are entrances. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You forget something, and then you're like, oh, I got to run all the way down this runway.
Well, part of it is, to get some exercise too.
So you're interning with Eugene. You're the one who's doing all of the manual labor.
Yeah.
Cutting stuff out and gluing it onto the plan.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah. We started with the soil layer.
Okay.
And so we kind of made it to surround the building itself. And then we continued with angled walls on the outsides. It'll be a little higher than this, but for now we're just creating the entire underground part.
This is for a building that also uses no heating, ventilation, or air conditioning. It's underground, 40 feet. It's a commercial building, 19,000 square feet. It features a waterfall at the entrance that's almost 40 feet high. And that is used to cool the building so that there's this temperature differential from inside the building to the outside. And that creates this flow effect of air. I had an intern who created a group of researchers just to research this building to see if it really would work. It was calculated by California Polytechnic University. This shows the ventilation system. Air comes in through these caps. And as the cooler area below, the hotter air is drawn to the cooler area. It falls. And all proven by 3D computer analysis. The main active ingredient is that waterfall, because that pushes air through the whole building.
Next, we ventured to his storage unit to see some clothing and other creative and athletic artifacts.
So all my capes have this harness, yeah. One of the problems with capes is that when you move your arms around, they tend to slip off your shoulders. But with this, no matter how much I move my arms, it's still going to stay on my shoulders. And this is all fake fur, so cotton and wool, cotton and wool, and silk.
And the inside is...
inside is a silk fabric, paisley. Looks kind of funny with shorts on. One thing I studied in clothing design is that if your shoulders are warm, then most of your body will remain warm. Would you like to try it on?
Sure, I'd love to try it on.
Yeah. So yeah, that's very nice.
Yeah, I need some...
Let's see. Let me snap this.
I feel very, very royal. We want peace with your country before we destroy it.
When I wear these out, people often stop me in the street asking, "Are you the prime minister of a country, or are you the dignitary or emissary for a country?" Yeah, they often ask me that.
And then you say yes.
Yeah. Well, one time my father-in-law made a joke, and somebody asked him, is he a president of a country or something? He said, no, he's the magician, and he's giving a show tonight. And they believed him. And the clothes I design are all unisex. So you see there's matching pants too with this. When you have a high collar, the collar directs your body heat around your head. And as long as your head's in that warm air pocket, your face and head are in a very comfortable zone.
Oh my gosh, are these zippered too? Can you store stuff in here, or what's?
Oh yes, you can. That's what you can put your coins and pens and stuff inside these little zippers.
Okay.
So they're like
On either side.
Yeah, it's like built-in purses.
You put your credit card, and then when you
exactly.
tap to pay, you just lean over. Oh wow!
So this is a cooler weather suit.
Looks very cozy.
It is. Yeah. So there's this double layer that comes up and keeps your shoulders warm.
Are there hidden pockets in this one? Oh
yes,
yeah.
Yep,
oh yeah.
they're there.
For your Glock. You can go in there. Oh, and
actually double.
And down there too.
Yes. Okay, so this one's different. This one you put under your belt.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
So you go like this, under your belt, and then secure it. And this is the actual wool that Tibetan monks use. I was roaming around the mountains in Tibet and came across a bunch of monks on pilgrimage. I was wearing another cape, and we were admiring each other's capes because they were wearing capes too. And they said, I'd love to have one of those. I said, well, sure, I could make you one. Well, what address would I send it to? And they said, I'm sorry, but we're on a pilgrimage, like a 500-mile pilgrimage, and we have no address. I said, oops. I have a friend who wore this in Paris, and she was stopped everywhere she went. Where did you get that? Where can I get one of those?
It looks like you killed in episode 5 the Yeti thing.
The Wookiee?
Not the Wookiee. Oh.
Okay, so you see these.
This is the first thing.
Yeah,
this is like some sort of weapon here.
No, it's actually storage. These are storage tubes.
This would be a great way to get searched at TSA for sure.
Oh, definitely. In fact, I have. Yeah, I wore something similar to this. And they had to take everything out, pop it off, look inside, put it back on. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is sort of giving like the clergy people in Dune, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, this is a cotton raincoat. So these were hemp-made ventilated shoes.
They look like you've been wearing them.
Yes, several years. And you notice how the runners are following the natural form of your foot.
Mm-hmm. They have a wide toe box.
Yeah, if I did these again, the next one would be to really emphasize the fan shape of your toes.
Mm-hmm. Now they're retired, but you would run in these?
Yes.
Those are very fly, as they say.
Here's a quick vest, waterproof vest. Designed. Okay. I think I designed this just out of high school. Vinylized cotton fabric. Right.
This must get warm, though.
Yeah, it gets warm. It's true. Yeah, because this is not breathable at all.
And this is pre-tassel era.
Yes. Oh, yeah, this is very pre-tassel. This is for winter, windy weather.
Oh, yeah. You're ready to assassinate a senator in Star Wars, I think, now, for sure. And then run away on the top of a building. And did I see, like, leopard print on the inside?
Yeah, that's the leopard print, yeah. Fake for leopard print.
Fake leopard print on the inside. Why did you choose the faux leopard?
Because it's just so plain on the outside. So I thought, okay, I'm going to add some accent.
Ready for a music video.
Yeah, I should. I can wear this for the next performance. I realized I put the cuffling on the wrong side of the
Oh, whatever. These tubes are so cool. How do you?
Aren't they? I walked into a cigar shop and I saw these and I thought, you know what? These are great. Stainless steel. They're waterproof. Mm-hmm. And I thought, I'd like to do something with these. A lot of my works have this breathing mesh mechanism of some sort. Mm-hmm. I think with the ones that are at home, there's definitely over 100 outfits.
Oh, this is
so you've got these
very cool.
Yeah, this is meant to keep your body heat circulating inside.
Oh, and then this is Velcro strip. I thought it was just part of the design. Yeah.
So this is extra thick, and it has this kind of sleeve that comes right up from the waist, so that your body heat is always circulating inside.
I missed the top buttons, but
Yeah.
I think people can get the idea. I really like this one. I think I like the fuzziness. It looks very comfy.
Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, here's one. This is 2013, I think. 2013. Yeah, so I started in 2005 and just kept going to 2013. And I lost too. I lost twice. So I went to 10 championships, lost 2, won 8.
And this is just a total. Oh wow! Oh
so
my
here's
god!
some clothing designs. So this is what? Let's see. 2013.
Okay.
So I was, doing table designs, clothing.
Oh my god! Wow.
There's the one with the cigar tubes idea. Hats.
Capes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some chair designs.
Wow.
And design some tables that adjust with the scissor system.
It's like a briefcase.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That's what it was. Folding briefcase that turns into a table. Rocking chair.
Ooh, neat. Did this ever get built, or was this a concept?
No, that one didn't. I'm really having trouble finding furniture makers.
And this looks like you'd be using like bent wood.
Yes, bent wood. So this was the design for a tower. There's there's the shoe showing how as you step, the air is pushed out and then sucked in.
Okay.
So the ventilation system creates a two-way suction. There's some teapots.
Teapots. And then what is this stone?
It's a light. A cantilevered light. I write from left to right, right to left, left to right, right to left, left to right. Yeah, wow. So that's just one sentence.
And that's just one.
And let's see.
My partner is really into sketchbooks. I know from them that R. Crumb, the graphic comedian.
Oh, yeah, R. Crumb, I know him.
He sold all of his sketchbooks and moved to France.
Wow. He'd love to publish my notebooks.
Yeah.
I don't like technology. I refuse to bow down to it. So that's how he is.
He has an old school mind.
Yeah, I'm in the middle, right? Or am I?
Yeah.
Am I as bad as him?
No.
This is my father, for those of you who don't know. He is wearing a Russian hat with a Chinese emblem of the police guard. His design is actually, this is based off of traditional Georgian costume. The Georgians are Caucasian peoples from the Caucasus area of Europe and Russia, and they have these outfits, and he basically based this robe off of that. His boots are from the western part of China, which is Muslim. They're Uyghurs. They're Turkic peoples. He bought the shoes, I believe, from Mongolia or the Kazakh area, which is near China and Kazakhstan. So he kind of mixes a blend of all these things. I believe these are the Mongolian ones, but I could be wrong. You can see by his outfit, he looks very much like a Cossack. I saw him give speeches at universities and in China and in here, and I always saw how everyone was just like, whoa. It was like one of those cults, religious cults, where they're like, yes, sir. My dad actually gave a speech at my high school one time, and he was wearing his purple sequin suit. His last name came up, and my friends were like, I think I just saw your dad giving a lecture about architecture. I'm like, oh no, yeah, that's my dad. And they're like, no, your dad is so cool. He's such a cool person. I'm like, but over time, I don't. It's what he is, who he is.
Yeah.
As I got older, I'm like, Dad, you are who you are. Well, I'm not ashamed anymore. I couldn't care less.
These are aluminum sculpture pieces that are going to be assembled into a large hanging sculptural chandelier. I have to paint all of them. This is going to be down at the Chinatown BART station here in Oakland. Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly known for murals, and I'm very excited this year to be doing a major mosaic and then a big sculptural piece. As a young man, I was very focused on just making money and not wanting to be like a struggling artist type. But then as I got older and kind of got more in touch with myself and what I really wanted to do, I really became a professional artist. And I never would have imagined that for my life. but that's what he is, you know, and that's
Mhm.
what my mom is, and so that's what I am, and
Mhm.
and I think my kids are heading in that direction too. So
Mhm.
it is funny how these generational things, like, you don't think you're your parents, and then 20 years later you're like, damn, I'm my dad. You know, there has been this like embedded confidence that I've carried throughout my life, and it's not a confidence of like I'm so great, it's a confidence of like anything is possible. What I see with him now, he's in a place where the environmental element of his work, the world is kind of caught up to some of those issues, you know? And I think back in the 80s when he was preaching environmentalism, nobody was listening. And I think now times have changed, you know, and people are listening. But I think it's up to him to figure out a way to re-engage with society and not be angry at them for not listening 40 years ago. You know, like they're listening now. I actually think his time is now. Society's ready. The type of work that he does and the messages that he has in his work, people are ready for that now.
So, okay, let's say by the end of this century, we're all going to be dead. Okay, so do we just party or do we try to do something? And for me, I'll go down trying. I want to make the most of my life. Nature has proven that miracles going to happen. A simple cloud is a miracle. An average cloud weighs 1,000,000 pounds. Okay. So how is this 1,000,000-pound thing floating in the air? We're surrounded by these miracles, so there's a possibility that we can counteract what's going on and find solutions. Okay. And if I die trying, well, I'm going to die anyway. When you put all this information together, I think, okay, I'm going to practice that, and I'm going to try my best to change architecture, to change the way I eat, the way I live, and let's see what happens. I've got to be the working example of what I think we all need to be. So I work on myself first, but then, I publish books, I give lectures, I speak to the government that this is wrong. We've got to stop buildings like this because they're going to pollute the planet and speed up climate change. But it has to come from us. I think individual action is always going to be more relevant than trying to change a society in a systemic way, because you are your own best example.
How do you deal with getting told no?
Yeah, so that's really been a commonplace aspect of my life. You just keep going, no matter what kind of criticism, what kind of demeaning attitude people might have about what you're doing. You have to believe that what you're doing is important. Every person on the planet has a gift. They need to find what that gift is and pursue that and have the determination not to give up. And if you die trying, then so be it. The thing is, you have to be committed to something. You have to be committed to that dream that you have of achieving what you think is right. And history has shown us that the people who don't give up are the ones that do succeed. You just can't let hardship block you from the direction that you must follow to believe in yourself.
Can you change a personality if you are defeatist? Is it possible?
I think it is, because, for instance, I had an intern who had graduated from USC architecture school, and I noticed he wasn't very happy. So I said, nobody in my firm as an intern is not happy. So why aren't you happy? So he said, I'm not sure I want to do architecture. So what do you really want to do? He said, well, you know what? I've really been interested in photography all my life. I said, well, you know what? That's what you need to do. But I can't. My parents have put me through school. I owe them. And I need to be an architect. I said, you don't owe them anything, because it's going to be a prison sentence for you. And you will hate yourself the rest of your life. Get out of here and get a camera and start doing photography. He said, no, I can't. I said, you've got to. So I eventually actually push him out the door, and I said, go get a camera and find a way. So a week later, I get a call from his father, and he says, Eugene, how dare you kick my son out and tell him he's going to be a photographer? How dare you? What right do you have to do that? I said, your son is not happy doing architecture. He said, how dare you tell me that my son can't be an architect? He's got a degree, he's going to be an architect. I said, I can't stop you from that, but from my point of view, it's the wrong thing. He slams the phone down. So a year later, I get a call from, he's living in Paris, he's rented a small studio, and he's doing fashion photography for magazines. And he loves it. When people tell me, I believe in what you're doing, I thank them for that. I need that. We all need that. You know, no matter how tough you may seem to people, we all need to be supported emotionally and psychologically. And so I really thank a lot of people for telling me that what I'm doing is right. I need that. You know, I'm not an armor-plated person that doesn't have feelings. In my earlier years, I lived in a $50 a month apartment. I did massage for people. I taught massage. I was a nightclub bouncer. Okay, you just do whatever you do to survive, but at the same time, I was drawing what I thought architecture ought to be. And it was freezing cold, no heat in Montreal, Canada. So it was minus 40 degrees sometimes, and I was freezing. And I was still drawing my drawings because this is the world that I was committed to creating. I wanted to be an architect. Okay, so that means you got to be hired by an architect to start your apprenticeship. Well, the second door I knocked on, I remember the principal taking me in. What schooling do you have? None. What experience do you have? None. Why are you here? I just want to become an architect, and here are my drawings. He looks at my drawings and said, you know, these are very bold ideas. You know, why are you doing this? And I say, because this is what I think architecture should be. And he was very impressed with that. He said, show up tomorrow at 8:30 and you can start. Bruce Goff, who was the most renowned American imaginative architect of his time. So I later called him myself. He said, yes, I heard about you. And you know what, why don't you come over and bring your drawings and let's talk. So I did. I come in front of this world-renowned architect who looked like a country doctor, you know, slick back white hair, glasses, spectacles, wearing these crazy mod art-like shirts. I looked at his crystalline blue eyes and I said, man, I think this is the master that I've been looking for. So I ended up staying there for 6 years. Nature is all about interconnection and interrelationship. That one thing survives because of its relationship with other things, other forces. And to comprehend these forces coming together I think it's almost beyond our brain ability to think in such an interdisciplinary way. And that's exactly why I'm starting that interdisciplinary department, so that we can start to think like nature. Nature's abilities are so far beyond our comprehension that we're just little infants compared to nature's, you know, mastery of things. The more you start to realize how expansive nature is, the dumber you feel.
So what's it feel like knowing that a lot of this stuff might happen after you die?
For one thing, I plan to live a long time. My mother lived to 101 years old. My grandfather, 96 or 98. My father, 96. My goal is to live to 150.
Okay.
And I think it's possible. I remember seeing a sign along the freeway in California saying, one of you today will live to 150. I said, yes, that's me. And I think if you put your mind to it, it's possible.
There is so much more to say about Eugene. If I had my way, this video would be like 5 times the length. His exercise routine, doing push-ups in the sauna, hanging upside down, doing neck exercises, his music and songwriting, his super cool and very patient wife. His grandchildren have their own super cool ventures. The postcards he sends to his family and friends have these amazing inspirational quotes on them. All of his art and design work, his plant-based diet, his commitment to nature, the list goes on and on. But still, the more time I spent with Eugene, the more I learned about his life. And while I did learn a ton, I mean, we shot hours of footage, the more I felt like I was actually digging deeper into the valley of despair. The less confident I was in saying that I'd figured him out. The Eugene rabbit hole goes so deep. Of course, if there's enough interest, I'll release a long-form video or podcast of our conversations. But I'm gonna be honest, after I made my way back home, I felt a bit lost. But I got an email. There's a big project on the horizon. Many questions may soon be answered. And by soon, I mean some months. But in the meantime, besides being inspired to take better care of myself and those around me and spending way less time on the internet and hopefully reading more books, I'll be releasing a bunch of shorts I shot with Eugene here and on other platforms. I also hope to make more vloggy style videos in the future, so please subscribe and or follow if you like the video and want to see more stuff like this. Drop a comment, share. Please consider becoming a member/patron on my website. Thank you so much. Go out there and be true to yourself. Have a great day, and I'll leave you with one other quote found on the walls of Eugene's studio. Work is love made visible, the search for meaning, purpose, and accountability.
You are not going to squash me. You just cannot give up.